It has been a week full of Cooper Kupp, and today is no different. We've got the newest update on wide receiver Cooper Kupp coming right for you. Unfortunately, today is not that great of news. Okay, let's update you on the timeline before we get into it. On Wednesday, the Packers were named a contender for the Cooper Kupp experience in free agency after he was released by the Los Angeles Rams. Then on Thursday, it came out just yesterday that a decision is to be made soon by Cooper Kupp. You know, it's not going to take a long time for him to decide where he wants to go next. And now we're up to Friday. What's the update? You're going to have to wait just a little bit to see, because I got to talk about this. Our NFC North sub-battle is rearing, and we're at the top of the leaderboard. In fact, we're tied with Bears now with 285 subs. If you want to help us take the lead, the outright lead, then go ahead, hit that sub button. We've been hitting this all week long. You guys have been doing phenomenal. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us, who has subscribed. To make the push for number one, we just need a few more subs. Hit that sub button. So Diana Rossini, we're about to throw a lot of updates at you. Let's start with Rossini. This came out early this morning, 6:15 a.m., saying two teams very interested in signing free agent wide receiver Cooper Kupp. According to league sources, the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Kupp is expected to make his decision today. Adam Schefter followed that up about an hour and a half later, saying, well, the Cowboys made what one source described as a push for Cooper Kupp. They still are not considered the likely landing spot for the former Rams wide receiver, per source. So if you take those two that there were, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, you eliminate the Cowboys, who stands left? That's right, the Seattle Seahawks. Slick Rick Scoops tweeting this out this morning, looking like we are coming to a conclusion on Kupp Watch and that Cooper Kupp will be joining the Seahawks. And I know Slick Rick seems not that, good of a source because he's got a dog in his profile picture. If you guys have been paying attention on Twitter, if you guys don't follow him on Twitter, you should. He's been absolutely nails. He called the Max Crosby extension. He called the Ronnie Stanley extension. He's called a ton. And this seems to be the next thing that he's calling his shot on. Diana Rossini then tweeted later this morning saying Cooper Kupp's asking price has been a holdup for a number of interested teams per sources. Some suitors have not been willing to offer Kupp a $13 to $14 million contract. And ladies and gentlemen, that right there screams Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers. Not willing to offer a guy $13 to $14 million, taking yourself out of the running, and other teams swooping in and getting a player that I think would have fit really well in this offense. Let's talk money for a second, because that's where we ended that all with, right? Cap space currently sits at $33.28 million. Really, really good. You are not as in great position as other teams, but you're in a lot better position than a ton below you. And the cost for Cooper Kupp, around $13.5 million on your $33.28 million cap space. And it seems that Green Bay has pulled themselves out of the running. Weigh in for me. Let me know in the comment section. Would you pay Kupp $13.5 million? Give me a yes. Give me a no in the comment section down below. I'll tell you my answer on the other side of this ad break. I would have done it, guys. I would do it right now. If I was Brian Gutekunst, Cooper Kupp would be getting offered $13.5 million in a heartbeat. And it's silly to me that they didn't do that because of the other options that are left at wide receiver. Okay, if you look at the top NFL free agents like we have over the past couple of days, nobody really catches my eye. Okay, not Keenan Allen, not Stephon Diggs coming off an ACL tear, not Amari Cooper. Brandon Cooks would be fine. Tyler Lockett seems like maybe he's a logical answer. He might be someone who could end up in Green Bay. Juju Smith-Schuster does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me. And because you've pulled yourself out of the running, and because I believe Cooper Kupp was the only wide receiver on that list that could have come into this wide receiver room, made a massive impact, and maybe even vied for that wide receiver one spot that's still up for grabs, you got to look to the draft and rely on the draft, in my opinion, to fill this need. Right now, you're picking at number 23. There are two options realistically that will fall to you at round one that I have a lot of faith in that could be possible wide receiver ones in this league. Luther Burden III, we've talked about him a ton. I've picked him in one of my mock drafts. If he falls to 23, if he falls to 18, I'm trying to trade up. I'm trying to get Luther Burden because I believe he's going to be a star in this league, okay? I've seen mocks where Burden goes like 12. I've seen mocks where Burden goes like 27. Nobody really knows where he's going to land. Nobody will ever know where he's going to land until April comes. So if he falls to 23, I'm not thinking twice about it. I'm picking him up. Matthew Golden, another guy. A lot of people thought he was probably going to be a second-round selection, maybe late first round, early second round, and then he had one of the best combines of any wide receiver. Okay, I think Matthew Golden played and ran his way into a guaranteed first-round pick. So now if he goes to you at 23, I think the option is him. He's fast. He has a great catch radius. He played great in the biggest moments in Texas's season, and I think he'd look fantastic catching a ball from Jordan Love. Let's talk about the second round, though, okay? Some guys I like in round 2. Jaden Higgins, both the TCU guys, Jack Besh and Savion Williams, and then Xavier Restrepo. Okay, I think Restrepo's a guy who's had a phenomenal last 4 years at the University of Miami. He's put up insane numbers. His size, his speed, it's nothing that like jumps off the page. And that's why I think that Restrepo is kind of being dropped down mock drafts over the last year or so. However, I still think with his production, he could be a very good and very just great piece in the wide receiver position. But I think of all of those guys, in round 2, I think Jaden Higgins, Savion Williams are my top ones because they have the size. They have unreal speed. I think Jaden Higgins is going to be a star. So if he falls to you in late round 2, I'd be very, very happy with Higgins as the pick. And honestly, I'd be happy with any of those 4. I'd be happy with any of the 6 that I just mentioned to you. Because it's looking like now that Cooper Kupp will most likely sign with the Seahawks. He will not be a Green Bay Packer, and you're going to have to figure out your plan at wide receiver without Christian Watson and with just Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and others. So you're going to have to add in the draft. If you want the wide receiver position to be different than it was from last year, you're going to have to do something different than you did last year. You're not just going to run it back with the same guys and expect different results. Sure, they're going to improve year over year. That's what they're supposed to do. They're National Football League players. They're young guys. I'm not discrediting them. I'm not saying I don't believe there's potential for them to rise up and get better. I'm just saying if you go into 2025 with the same guys you went into 2024 with, I would not expect that much of a jump. So I think you need to target in the draft. I think you need to target early in the draft. Shout them out for me in the comment section down below. We're going to go over the free agency losses and the free agency gains in just a little bit. But just let me know in the comment section. Go ahead and name a wide receiver you want Green Bay to draft for me. It could be in the 4 guys, 6 guys I just listed. It could be someone totally random. You give me your answer in the comment section. As always, it is free agency week, so let's get you caught up on the latest for the Green Bay Packers. Okay, no worries. We're just going to give the guys that they've added. We don't have the losses up right now. Isaiah McDuffie, Brandon McManus, those extensions came late last week. Aaron Banks, Nate Hobbs, those 2 deals came early on Monday. 4 years, $77 million for Banks. 4 years, $48 million for Hobbs, $16 million of that guaranteed. It's been a very quiet week for Green Bay. I don't think any of us are incredibly surprised by that, right? Just as Brian Gutekunst does with the Cooper Kupp situation and, him not being willing to offer $13.5 million, I think he's taken that same exact approach with a lot of this free agency class. I don't think it's that bad of a deal. I don't think this free agency class has been anything spectacular. It hasn't been anything to write home about. There's been a lot of good guys, very few great guys. Guys like Josh Sweat, DJ Reed, those guys who went to other teams, I would have loved Gutekunst to make a little bit bigger of a run at them. But after Monday, seemed like everybody kind of was getting overpaid for their production because I think teams are just kind of starting to freak out and saying, you know what, we need to fill holes right now. Green Bay hasn't been doing that. They've been a little bit smart. I just wish they would maybe make a stronger run at Cooper Kupp. As always, thanks for watching today's episode. This is the Packers Report. I am your host, Joey Peterson. Stick around, hit that sub button because we've got you daily videos right here on the Packers Report.